Okay, there was a question that came in today regarding handrails, guardrails, and ArchiCAD. And if I look here, I just threw in a really quick example of a round handrail on some brackets. The question was how we take that handrail and turn it into the wall so it gets a wall return. And this one is an example of just a horizontal rail, but it could just as easily have an angle, slope to it, whatever. If I were to elevate the end of it up or something, I could do a slope rail like on a stair, but I basically just want this end to come out and return back into the wall. So if we look at that in floor plan again, and let's go ahead and just lay it flat for right now. I don't want to tinker around with all the view settings. I just want this profile here to return into the wall. So to do that, you have to first of all know which rail that you want to return, because there's the top rail, there's handrails, there's individual rails, there's all these different rails. But in the diagram right here, if I just select the rail, I can see which one is going to need to return. That's important because when I want to pick the one that returns, I have to go to the same corresponding one here, handrails, as is listed in the drop down here. So there's top rail, handrail 1, handrail 2. You can have up to 2 different handrails, and then additional rails right here. So this one is, I believe, going to be handrail 1. And we are going to define whether it's straight, dropped and returned, or just hooked or extended. So I think in this case we could say that it's just dropped because it's literally just returning in. Then we're going to change this to 90 degrees so that it's actually not hooking down, but it's hooking over 90 degrees. Here we can extend it beyond the end of the rail. So let's say that's 6 inches. Let's say the radius of the bend is 2 inches. The angle is 90. The extension into the wall, maybe it's 4 inches, 3 inches, whatever from the wall. You could say that the extension here, it levels out maybe 1 foot or 1.5 feet or whatever the code is there. And then when we say okay, you can see there that it's hooked in right there. So if I wanted it to stop at the rail here, all I would need to do is know this distance right here. That's 3 inches. If I come back into the settings, again of the ends, come back into handrail 1, and say that this extension right here is 3 inches from the face of the rail, and it's a 1.5 inch rail, so it's probably like 2.25 inches or something like that. How much further back do I need to go? 1.25 inches. So that would be a 1 inch extension from the center of that rail for some reason. Oh, because of the radius right there. Anyway, that's the basic way to get these rails to return back into the wall. I hope that's helpful and makes sense to everybody.